I'll begin with Chris Thairu, who's joining me right now from Parliament. Chris, thank you so much for joining us on News Centre. So first things first, at least we know two things that the President will be seeking to do. Of course, the first one is to convince Kenyans that he actually deserves a second term. And the other one, of course, is to largely enumerate on the things that the Jubilee administration has been able to do. But apart from those two, what else are we looking at this afternoon?
Well, a very good morning to you, Betty. And as you correctly put it, it is the last State of the Nation address by President Uhuru Kenyatta before Kenyans go back to the elections. That is in August the 8th. And of course, much expected during today's State of the Nation address. And of course, we can't forget the issue to do with corruption. Remember that 2 years ago, when the President addressed the nation here at Parliament, he actually got a standing ovation after he came up with a list of members of big personalities who have been accused of maybe being dwelling in corruption. And of course, I'm joined, I have a panelist of members of Parliament, that is Kiminini Member of Parliament, Chris Wamalwa, and Kiharu Member of Parliament, Irungu, Kang'ata. Welcome, gentlemen, to KTN News. And of course, today being the last State of the Nation address by President Uhuru Kenyatta, what will be expectations when it comes to address members of Parliament and, of course, the nation?
My expectations are, because what the President is coming to do, it is his obligation as provided for in the Constitution. He's supposed to give the status of the nation pertaining three important things. One, he needs to tell Kenyans about the level, the aspect of security in this country. And you need to know that the President is the chairman of the Security Council in this country, and is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. We've had a lot of challenges when it comes to security matters. We've had the Al-Shabaabs, but of late we have the challenge of the cattle rustling, which actually has been declared a national disaster. So we are yet to see what his plans are and what grade is he going to likely to give himself. So after security, he has, of course, has to say something when it comes to the international obligation of this country. We know Kenya is party to so many treaties. And in line with our constitution, particularly Article 2 of the constitution, many of those international agreements that Kenya is a signatory, for them to be part and parcel of our Kenyan laws, they must be ratified by Parliament. So we also need to understand what is the level of fulfillment of Kenya's international obligations. He has to touch on that. And lastly, on the issue of governance, the core values and the principles of governance, which has been a big challenge because issues of corruption are in this country. They've not gone away. We've been told 30% of the national revenue goes into wastage through corruption. Last time, like the President was here 2 years ago, it's true he was given a standing ovation when he came up with a list which he indicated that these people have to step aside, and these people stepped aside. But to some of us, it was more of a PR exercise because findings had not been done, and these people are still free. Nothing has been done to them.
Talking of corruption, Irungu Kang'ata, do you think the Jubilee government has done enough to ensure that those who have been involved in corruption actually are behind bars and are brought to book?
Yes, indeed. One, the President has revamped the EACC Commission. We do now have a new chairman who happens to be a religious person. We hope by doing that we shall have a new outlook in the way corruption is fought. Number two, we have several members of his cabinet who have been arraigned in court. We have Charity Ngilu, although I'm aware she has now been cleared. But I do also know Engineer Kamau matter is still pending there, and several PSs. So to that extent, I think the government has done its part. But taking people to
many
court.
Might argue that it's 2 years down the line and nothing has.
Nothing.
Kenyans have not seen a high-profile personality going behind bars for maybe being involved in corruption.
You see, the problem we have in this country is blaming president for things which you ought not to blame the president. Like judiciary. Judiciary is a separate and a third arm of the government. It is completely independent. There's no way the president can fast-track matters in court. There's no way the president can phone a judge and tell that judge you should rule in a certain manner. So to me, all those matters are pending in court. The president has done his bit, and therefore we would urge judiciary to ensure those matters are heard and disposed as soon as possible.
So you're blaming the judiciary?
Yes, indeed, I am blaming the judiciary.
Well, what
you
you
see,
say?
and maybe to comment a little bit as he replies.
Yes.
I am expecting the president to do one, to address himself on issues of the economy. Are we cruising at a rate which is going to enable us reach the 2030 vision? Because when you look at that document, there are certain parameters. That is, we should grow at a certain rate, we should do this at a certain rate. And indeed, the president has done that. One of the key essence of a good country is electricity. You need energy to power industries, you need energy to power our homesteads. From 1963 to 2012, we had about 2.5 homesteads which had power. Now, in the last 4 years, Jubilee government has been able to double that. Now we are cruising almost 6 million homes.
Now, but there's inflation.
Yes, indeed.
People are saying
There's
that,
inflation, the cost of living,
is
a
going
country that cannot feed itself. You can't say you're doing well. Right now, the packet of unga has gone up. The other day I watched on TV, people can't afford a meal. We have drought all over. So Honorable Kang'ata, I don't know where he's coming from. I think he needs to go back to, is this what's happening in Kiharu? The entire country, cattle rustling, the insecurity in this country. We don't know where we are going. The country needs to take charge. When he comes and he says that EACC has been revamped, surely. Recently we had a governance summit at State House, and His Excellency the President came and said, hey, I can't make it. Things have gone this way, I've done this, but the corruption is still there. So when it comes to the fight against corruption, the Jubilee government has failed terribly. When it comes to matters of security, you know very well the cattle rustling that is going on in Baringo, in your own country, the drought that we're having in this country. A lot of wastages has gone to Galana Gulana. This is a white elephant. We've not seen any produce coming out. Kenyans can hardly feed themselves. When you look at this economy, when you look at the banking sector, it is collapsing, my brother. I don't know where my friend Kang'ata is coming from.
No, yes.
Before we go to the devolution aspect, just respond before we go to the devolution aspect on what is just commented on.
The issue about hunger, surely one cannot praise the government at all, because it is an issue that is affecting several sub-Saharan African countries, particularly Somalia, Kenya, and Tanzania. So the point is, it is the issue of global changing climate, which you cannot blame the president. As to moving away from a rain-fed economy to one where irrigation is given a lot of premium, yes, the government is establishing crucial irrigation projects all over the country, but it takes time to mature. So we give the government time for those projects to mature. In terms of insecurity, again, surely that one you blame our colleagues from this other side. We know of a member of parliament.
Are we
yes,
Are we rustlers?
No.
Are we rustlers?
No. We have one MP belonging of ODM who is currently facing charges for inciting people in his region in Laikipia. Yes.
Cattle rustling is in Baringo.
Me, I'm talking about invasion.
But the question is, what has the government done to ensure that maybe even that member of parliament you are alleging that is involved is brought to book?
He has been taken to court. What else do you expect the government to do? He has been taken to court. In respect to the issue concerning the problem in Baringo, the deputy president himself visited that county. He mobilized a huge number of police reservists. Also, a huge contingent of GSU is currently being deployed in those regions. And I can tell you for the last 1 week, we do no longer have information regarding insecurity in Baringo County. So to that extent, we should say the government is doing a good job. But to me, the most important achievement of this government is the new roads which are being commissioned by the president. You see, for a long, these people have been saying the government, yes, opposition. Opposition has been arguing that we do not have any new infrastructural project that is being done. But I can tell you, this is the best government in terms of making new roads.
Jubilee manifesto, you talked about the 10,000.
I can give you one.
Where are the 10,000?
From Kitale. This guy comes from Kitale.
Where are they?
From Kitale, there's a place called Kapenguria and Lodwa.
Yes.
That is a road that is under construction as we speak. Is it true?
Let's talk about
No, is it true?
10,000. You are
No,
I'm
giving you an example.
Where are the 10,000?
I'm not from your region.
Let's talk about devolution. Devolution.
Yes.
Do you think that the Jubilee administration has done enough to ensure and protect the devolution aspect and ensure that money goes down to the mwananchi down there, the grassroots level, through the devolved units, noting that this is the first time that we are having these devolved units under the Uhuru Ruto administration?
The aspect of devolution has nothing to do with the Jubilee government. The devolution aspect came because the Constitution of Kenya provided for. The Kenyans voted, and the Constitution 2010 brings the issue of devolution. But having said that, how long does it take this money to reach at the county level? His Excellency the President came up with the free maternity, which was a wonderful idea. But when you talk to the governors at the grassroots, the free maternity aspect is not there. You ask them why. That this money that is coming from the national government to come to the county government, we have not seen it. So our health facilities have overstretched themselves, we cannot afford anymore, and they are sending away the mothers. So the issue of free maternity going to the grassroots is neither here nor there. When it comes to the issue of this money going down, for instance, as in the opposition, we are looking for an opportunity whereby we want to devolve more money to the counties. We are looking at 45%, if possible, even up to 50%.
Yeah,
But what Jubilee government has done, we are told is just a mere, is it 16% or 17%? And it takes time to reach
Because we want to wind up.
Have been complaining.
Let's have his response on that so that we can wind up this interview. Yes.
The Constitution talks of a minimum of 15% of the national revenue, which the national government can elect to send to the counties. So it is upon the government to decide whether to send 16%, 17%. But this government, out of its good wisdom, has been sending about 35% of the total national revenue to the counties. 35%. And it has been increasing year in, year out. So, and in fact, by doing that, we have been able to strengthen devolution. So therefore, this is the best government in terms of empowering devolution is concerned.
Okay, gentlemen, as we wait for the afternoon and the president will be addressing the nation, hope the opposition has not planned to heckle him or disrupt the state of the address we witnessed the last time.
What I know, the opposition were very civilized, and the president is coming to talk to parliament in line with the constitution. It is his constitutional obligation, and we have no plans whatsoever that we're going to do that. If other people have planned, I don't know, but that is theirs.
No.
On behalf, just a minute. On behalf of the Code Coalition, which is official opposition, under my leader, we've not planned anything. We are just going to welcome His Excellency the President. We are going to listen to his speech, and we are telling Kenyans to listen keenly and see what has he achieved, so that by August, you bring in the NASA government, we can actually smell victory. This is their last term. They are going home. Please, we are welcoming their speech as they go home. I thank you.
No,
your last thoughts?
Yes, if they attempt to disrupt today's session, we are going to tackle them head on. I'll be leading the Jubilee Brigade to tackle them. In fact, I'm manning this guy. If he attempt to shout my president, you will see.
I don't do shouting. I'm a civilized guy and I don't do that. We cannot shout His Excellency the President.
They did that last time.
Those who did, they did individually. The issue is we are here to listen to His Excellency the President, to analyze his speech objectively and critically, and to tell the Kenyans the truth. No violence whatsoever.
Thank you,
this government has performed very well. This guy is going to lose.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.